Have you guys had a kit where you just go into a build event and just bought it from the store, but you never got to finish it? Hey guys, this is EA Sports from Plamo Build Report, and today I want to show you the HGUC Marasai on the inside and the overall build, and then just like a very quick review. This kit is trying to be not Xeon, but not Earth Federation. So what exactly is it? I don't think you can see what exactly it is because the whole suit itself is covering the name. So this mobile suit is supposed to be a successor of the HGUC used by the Titans during the Grips War. And it improves a lot of things. It has a Gundarium alloy, it also has a movable frame, same with the Gundam Mark II, and overall this suit does not shout Xeon. Basically, the Earth Federation Force was supposed to use this kit, but Anaheim Electronics kinda wanted to avoid the conflicts between the Titan and the Earth Federation, so this was given to Titans. What a story, and not so confusing at all. This is the A runner, these are the B runner, this is the C runner, poly cap, and a sticker. Overall, this kit has only 4 runners, so it shouldn't take too much of a time. I like the simplicity and all. So this is how far I have built during the build event. What a waste. I have been talking with a lot of builders out there, just talking about gunpla and just nerding out on Gundam just all together. So it was a good time. I did not finish a kit. So I'm just gonna build it right now and just give you my quick thoughts on it. See you in a bit. Man, you could tell in 2005 that Bandai did all sorts of tricks onto their sleeve just to innovate the whole process. They've used 3 colors on one runner, which is pretty amazing. So you got the clear part, you got the green part, and you got the weird orange color part right here. Yeah, all on this runner. Then just one runner, which is pretty neat. Yeah, already I'm having seam line problems here. You can see from the top it's not matching up correctly. Apparently I messed up on cutting the flag, so I would have to fix the seam anyway, so I have to fix that. Alright, so here it is all built up. Just took me about like 2 hours to build this kit. So far the build is not bad. It's actually a lot simpler than it's used to. I mean, it's been released in 2005, so back then, complexity wasn't a big thing. One thing I really want to say about this kit is there's a lot of opportunities that has been lost. And what I mean by that is I could just go like one by one. First, I was going to say there's a lot of seam line to the kit, and you know, it's 2005, and of course there will be a bunch of seams. But there were some attempts that Bandai has done for the kit. For the face part here, this I kind of screwed up because what I was going to do is I took the flag out so that I could like paint later on, but I guess due to that, the head itself is really not aligned to each other that well. As you can see, it looks like it's screaming something, just kind of like a praying mantis, but yeah, that I will need to fix. So it's not the kit's fault, it's just my fault. There's also notable seams in the arm, and one of the other seams you can see here is going to be on the shoulder spike. And for a 2005 kit, I guess that's normal, but yeah, I mean, that kind of attempt for Bandai, I don't think they have fixed this yet. This, I believe, in like one of the modern kits now, it's not a big problem. Bandai now has them all in one part instead of having them separate. Staying in the topic of seam line, Bandai has done some experiments on how to remove the seam in this kit overall. So this head is one good example. Like basically there's all these parts here, but this whole helmet part, it's one whole part itself. So I give them credit for trying to do that. The other attempt that Bandai is trying to do is on the legs itself. So normally you would have like a seam in the middle, but what Bandai has done is they actually separated it into 3 parts with this kit, and it looks more like a panel line than a seam. As for the overall look of this kit is very detailed out and had some like really simple color separations. The green color of the pipe, the red of the shield, and some very interesting color orange. The backpack detail is, I think it's where it really shines. However, all of the backpack burniers they have the same color. So if you want to customize the kit a little bit further, you might want to paint the burniers like silver or gunmetal. The green color separation is really well done. These green and then the joint parts that are actually a separate part, and with this the color separation looks even better for like a 2005 kit. Other detail that's worth mentioning is the leg thrusters. These are kind of an individual part, so you could paint them at any color you want, but they're separated out pretty good. Now going through the articulation, this kit is pretty much average when it comes to articulation. Just going by quickly, the head part you can move it up and down, but because of the size of the helmet, it will only go at a certain point. The arm articulation back in 2005 standard, this was like a big deal where the shoulders can go up forward. However, since it's not in a ball joint, the arm itself does not move freely as it should. The elbow only goes a little over 90 degrees, and the wrist, you can move it freely, but one thing that I thought they could do better is the overall gap between the wrist and the arm. The shield on its right arm only has a movement because it's not on a ball joint, but you could also fold the shield in a way however you like it. The torso itself is again in the 2005 standard, so it doesn't have the 3-point articulation that you see in kits nowadays. You could still move it side to side, and if you kind of loosen up it a bit, you could kind of get that movement, but however it's too loose at this point, so be careful when you're trying to move. The leg itself you can move up, and you can also move it backwards through the side skirt. The side skirt, since these are together, you cannot move them individually, so you'll have to do some customization, which I could show you later on. The knee itself, you could bend it at almost a little bit less than 90 degrees, but due to the kit's design, I guess this is as far as it can go. As for the ankle, it's a little limited since the ankle is quite large, and you can move it side to side, and it has no problem standing on its own due to its big design. One thing the kit does not have is the actual hole for your action base. So we're going back to the very first action base where you have to fit it in shape, and like they're using a special joint, which is quite a shame because I believe this kit shines when it's in the air. This kit comes with 3 different type of hands, 2 for the right and 1 on the left, and it's a very odd choice since the left hand only has an action pose, but it doesn't have anything so you hold additional weapons. The right hand includes a beam rifle hand and also a beam saber hand. What's interesting about 2 of these hands is that the structure. As you can see, the structure is more a 2-piece rather than a 1-piece than like a standard. And this is really easy to exchange, but I'm more worried about the grip strength of this because it falls out pretty easily. The Marasai has 2 different types of weapons. One is going to be the beam saber that's attached to the shield, and the other one is the standard beam rifle. The beam rifle itself is just a single solid color, but it's well detailed out, and you could take the cartridge out and also the grip handle, just make it into a standard beam rifle. The beam rifle hand is the only hand that has a different structure and it's more traditional. The beam rifle has a hard point that attaches to the beam rifle hand, and this is a very good attempt for Bandai to keep the beam rifle steady. And as you can see, the beam rifle holds very well and it's very sturdy, so it doesn't fall off that easily. You get 2 beam sabers in this kit, and they could attach to the shield pretty well. They also include the yellow clear part for the beam saber effect. To attach and detach, simply just take it out of the shield, just like so. And then you attach your beam saber effect, just like so. This is a pretty long beam saber, but it's pretty to look at. To attach it to the beam saber hand, simply just slide it in, or you could just take it out just like the gimmick that I told you before. Just be careful in this part where sometimes where it's very hard to put it together, but as long as you manage it, then you could fit it perfectly. Now the location of the beam saber is pretty important too, because if you just put it through on the top, it kind of looks awkward and it doesn't really hold that well. It's pretty flimsy at that point. I would recommend it to have it at the very end at the least. Since the beam saber is pretty long, I think it's better suited if you hold it with 2 hands. Today I did a quick build and a very quick review of the HGUC Marasai. Overall, the build quality is pretty good in my opinion. As a 2005 kit, it's not too bad. The color separations are very basic, and there are a lot of detail that's been appreciated to this kit. And Bandai has done a lot of things that they are trying to make things better with the model kit that you see now today. Overall, I'd like to give this kit at around a 7 out of 10. It's pretty mediocre in a sense, and there are some points that they could have done better, but for a 2005 standard, I think it's pretty good. So with that said, this has been EA Sports from Plamo Build Report, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much. Bye bye.